This is the Andy Rosado Show. This is where we bring you love, relationships, health, and everything else. Welcome, welcome. We got a good show here tonight. We're not going to waste no time at all on this thing. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the stimulus package. How is it going to help the regular working people in the U.S.? How it's going to affect them? We're trying to see. I'm trying to see. I'm part of those regular working people over here. Also got a special guest here to help me out with this thing. Also, we getting on this stimulus package, shawty. This stimulus package. They trying to give it to the big companies right now. And they are too. Are the big companies gonna do what they need to do to help? Is the money gonna trickle down to the regular folks? Is it? Or are they going to put it back in their stocks and get all that money to themselves? Man, we're going to get to this thing, man. For real. Hopefully everyone out there, man, is being protected. They taking care of themselves through these times right now. Some tough times emotionally, physically, spiritually, also mentally. Let's get it, y'all. I want to introduce, man, he's like a mentor to me, definitely. Dude is a true to heart entrepreneur. And definitely is an inspiration to me. But I just wanted him to join me on this topic. So we're about to put him on. This is, let me introduce him, the Kelvin Special. That's who I'm talking about. How you doing today? Yeah, you know you get that, man. Get a round of applause, man.
I see you, Andy. I see you.
Yeah, so
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Man, ain't no thing, man. We just trying to get on this stimulus package, man, because I remember in 2008 you had helped me to get a home, to get a house around those critical times. But those times was very hard times for many people. In this time, dealing with the coronavirus pandemic that's going on, so a lot of companies, businesses are losing out. Now, there's a stimulus package going to the people, and the people that really need it, okay? And that's a good thing. Give it to the people who need it right now, that's in hardship as of right now because of this thing. You got people who really need that stimulus bill, and you got people who's just doing the wrong mistake of, if they do have it, to pay it, to go ahead and pay it, but they're making a mistake of not paying their mortgages, not paying their utilities. Now, do you think that's a good thing to do? Because, I guess it is, right? Because, because they telling them that they don't have to pay for utility, they don't have to pay for the water during these times. And then I guess when everything comes back together, they'll be good. Do you think that's the way it's going to happen? And can you please explain exactly in your insight of what's to come forward after this pandemic is over, after everything is, kind of settled through the fire?
All right. So Andy, let me just say this. Everything you're saying is a lot, okay? And it's convoluted, and it gets pretty deep. So I don't even know if we have enough time to go over everything. So I'm going to try to keep it simple and sweet. I want to talk about, you said that the stimulus package itself is going to stimulate the economy. That's the whole purpose of it, okay? Do I feel like it's going to have a great impact? No. Plain and simple. No. It's almost like people are getting a partial income tax check. Not even a partial, a quarter. It's a quarter of the income tax. It's great. It builds morale, if anything. It makes people a little bit, hey, I'm getting some money. That's about all. But the average person, you know, may spend a little. But the thing about it is this thing is still going on. So once you get it, what happens then? A week from now, when that money is spent, you're not gonna get another one. We still quarantine. So I think the stimulus package, I'm not actually in agreement with it, even though I'm gonna get my check and I'm gonna cash it. I'm
Right.
actually not in agreement with it because of the underlying meaning of what you don't know. Now,
Right.
I'm in the real estate, and real estate investors always know when you buy a property, it's not about what you see. The big issue you have to worry about is the unknown, is what you don't see. Like, what's behind that wall? Is it asbestos? Is it mold?
Mm-hmm.
It's the unseen things that are covered is what concerns me. So this stimulus money, we all know that there's only a certain amount of money that
Can
the Federal Reserve allows to be put into our community.
so this can hurt the home industry, the housing industry.
Well,
Uh,
I think, okay, when you talk about the housing industry, the housing industry, not that it's going to hurt it, it's already hurt. Okay? It's already done. Okay? Life as we know it has changed forever. Let me stop right there. Life as we know it has changed forever. The housing industry crash of 2008 taught us one thing. It taught us that if real estate goes down, everything else, the trickle effect, fails from that.
mm,
Our whole world is ran by real estate. So, even though they did not bail out the average person and money was sent to corporate, no one saw this coming in the foreclosure status, that these things were going to happen. So this is the reason why they did not see it. But now because this is kind of a second coming of that is the reason why they shut down rent. They put a moratorium on foreclosures. They start doing all these different things to try and not to have a repeat of what happened in 2008.
mm.
Now the question is, did they do a good job? Is it going to solve it? I don't think so. Certain things are inevitable to happen. And here's the reason why. When it comes back and we're able to go out and they're able to kind of get the corona COVID-19 under control,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is that people at that point, when you have not paid your electric bill, okay, you haven't paid it, but you're still using electricity every day. Do not think for 1 minute that the money that was paid or the money that you've used up in using electricity that you don't have to pay that. What you're going to have to do is at the end of that time in 2 months, they're going to say, hey, okay, that money is due. Then they're going to say, okay, so how can we pay this? Now there's a difference between electricity and paying a car note. And I'll explain that in a minute.
So these
Take
so
for
these companies are really gonna get their money. They're gonna want their money back after this whole thing is over.
Oh yes, electricity. They're not saying that, hey, you don't have to pay your electricity bill. No. They're saying right now don't worry about it. But in a few months, they're gonna say, okay, it's now due. So you have some options. Just like what mortgages are saying. They're saying,
Oh.
okay, you don't have to pay anything right now, but in 2 months it's going to be due. And here are the options for you.
Mm.
You can either pay it all up front right now And the average person won't have that because they have not been working, or they're going to say, we'll increase your mortgage,
Like a modified repayment program.
a repayment program, and we'll spread it out over a period of months.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to say, whatever you owe, we may place it on the back end of your loan. And in order to do that, you got to go through a process to be approved for that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to give it to you. Okay? So that opens the doorway for so many other things. So the trick is you got to understand what is happening. You asked me the question of, do I agree that people should not make payments? I do agree. I think that people have to be smart. It's every man for himself right now. You need to understand that. Understand it's every person for themselves.
But you would
When you
think
can,
you would
go
think
ahead.
the government would like take some of the stimulus bill and kind of just kind of aid have an aid for people to help them get back after this whole thing is over. I mean, like or money a stash on the side just for people, just to distribute it and help people, folks, even to just lower their costs or something like that, or lower their monthly payments or something like that. I mean,
I
I
mean,
mean, you
you
would
would,
think.
mhm.
I mean, it just don't make no sense because people's not working. So how they gonna catch up after this whole thing is over if the company is making them, you know,
and
uh,
what it's doing is actually forcing people to go in debt. That's what it's doing. It's a forcing mechanism. It makes you go in debt because in 2 months, unless you have a zero balance, and you're now in the negative, and when you're in the negative, that means you're in a loss. That means you are in debt. That means you owe someone. Okay? So it's forcing the average person who had a good job, who was working, so now you're in debt. Now here's something better, a better scenario. If the individual government said, you know what, we're going to shut everything down and we're going to make a law that says that everything stays. Those companies that are important, for example, like power. I think power is important. There are essential things that we need in our society today to still function and survive.
That's right.
Having gas, having lights, having water are essential. Okay?
Right.
So I
Right.
would think that as opposed to paying the people, no, I would say take some money, pay companies like Georgia Power. We want you to maintain service. And while we're having this pandemic, I
Yeah.
don't want you to charge anybody anything.
Yes.
Anything. What that does, it frees somebody from thinking, I won't get my lights off. Okay? I'm still going to have water. I still can cook my children food. Okay? At that point, give the concept of food. Because this thing can be done a whole
Right.
different way now. We understand that in our world, everything we have is grown. For example, food. Enough food where people can survive. If you have a certain amount of income and you need help, great. We give you food. All we need is food, shelter, and our basic essentials to survive.
Right.
Everything else can be shut down, honestly. All right? We're not worrying about anything else. Now, those people who want
That's
to
right.
capitalize on the scenario, that's them. That's the hustle nature. And that's okay. But on a basic level, if you stop people from billing, car notes, mortgages, stop it all. Don't put in nothing on the back end. Don't do none
Right.
of that. That month that everything shut down, nobody owes anybody any money anymore. No more. And we're not going to put it on the back end where you still get your money, but yet the enemy average person
Mm.
hadn't made no money.
Right.
So now, how do they win it? Setting us up for failure. That's a better way to really work the system. So I'm not in agreement with the stimulus package. Take that money and do something else. It's not. I don't think it's beneficial, and so I'm not in agreement with
That
it.
makes
But
sense.
it is what it is, though. So how do we get past this? What do? You have to be every man for themselves, and you have to think smart about what you're doing. Yes, you should be paying your electricity bill because it's one of those bills that continue.
Right.
That continue going, and it's going to add up. Now, for your car note, your rent or your mortgage, I would suggest at that point, no, do not pay that. No, because there is an ending time frame for that. On a mortgage, you owe a certain amount. Okay? On a car note, you owe a certain amount. All right?
Yeah.
So they can easily extend that time out, and that's okay. Extend the time out for me to make my mortgage payment. Say, no payments due right now. Extend it out. All right? That's fine. But if you're driving and you need insurance, okay, then you need to pay your insurance. Okay? Because you're still driving. Certain things you can stop paying for and give more time for because it's almost like those things that you kind of have a loan on. If you got a loan on something, I would say stop paying it. Stop paying it. Don't pay nobody no loan. Nothing. Car notes, bikes, houses. Now, rent is a little bit trickier. Okay? Rent is a little bit trickier. I would say at the same time frame, it's still going to be money. It may be money's due because nobody's paid. But if you have to take care of the landlord and the tenant, you have to be fair about it. Because the landlord, they want their money. And the tenant, they don't want to really pay.
Right.
So you have to tell the landlord, look, we understand this is your source of income. Okay? What we're going to do is if you have ownership and you can show that you have a renter that has been paying, then we may give you some portion of that rent. We'll pay it for you. That keeps the housing market straight. It's that cycle, and they're not thinking in that concept, and I do not like how they're doing. And I think that this is going to set our economy up for something that is inevitable, which is what I was talking about in the very beginning, going back to it, is foreclosures. I think they're still going to happen. People, because of the way that they're doing it, the debt is still going to be there. The average person, it's hard for them to get a modification. They're going to go back to work. They're going to try to make money. They ain't got time to be faxing documents. They ain't got time to be calling the mortgage company, going through that modification process. Right. It is detailed. It is detailed. And you got to know what you're doing. They're trying to make money now again. So this situation is it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Foreclosures are definitely going to happen again. It's going to definitely affect the real estate market. And I will tell you, if you are a savvy investor, listen to the words that I'm saying to you right now. Save your money. Get your credit right because it's coming. We know it happened in 2008, and we know a lot of millionaires were made from those people who bought houses for the low. I mean, bought houses dirt cheap. It's coming. It's coming again in a different way. And I say, this is your second time around. You don't get too many chances in life. So be ready. Be ready because it's definitely coming. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Man, look. There it is. That's the forecast right there. Yeah. How can people reach you, man?
All right, so I am on Instagram. I'm known as the Kelvin Special. You can go to my Instagram, IG, follow me. I've had my Instagram for about a year, and people said to market a little bit more, so I'm out of tune for it, but I'm doing my best. But yes, I am constantly on Instagram now. I'm playing with it. I'm all over. I am, if you don't know, I'm in the real estate. I'm in the entertainment industry, so I do a lot on both facets. I play hard, but I educate even harder. Okay, and
true.
Real estate is something I know like the back of my hand. I've been through it all, so you can always just DM me on Instagram, the Kelvin Special. That's Kelvin KELVIN.
Man,
Kelvin Special.
Gotta reach this man. This man's the truth. It's the Andy Rosado Show. Thank you for joining us. So until next time, peace.